been very long and very boring. So I mean, if that's the worst you can say about it, it's not all terrible.
Hi, I'm Cas, and I've been a self-employed luthier during lockdown.
Would you like to introduce yourself?
I'm Cas, I'm from Cornwall.
So what is your job?
So I'm a luthier, sole trading luthier. It's just me making mostly mandolins and some bouzoukis and guitars and other instruments, most things with frets.
How long have you been doing it for?
Quite a long time now. It's been about 14 years in total, but it's been my main occupation, I would say, for the last 3-4 years.
How did your job change during lockdown?
Not at all, really. So, because I work from home, it's not been really a big problem for me at all. I carried on working throughout. At the very beginning, it was a bit scary because I can work from home with what I've got, but as it cuts down on the supply chain, it had become a little bit scary trying to work out what was going on. And the government grant was actually quite good for sole traders because it got me out of a tight spot there, and I don't think other countries are actually doing it. So for all I hate the Tories, it was actually quite useful at that point.
So yeah, what was it like getting resources and stuff?
It's not too bad because I'm on because I put relatively high-end instruments. Most of what I have is already in stock somewhere and it's been in storage for the last 20 years, drying out and stuff. But so getting hold of that's not been too difficult. But just coming towards the end, then I've had difficulty getting hold of just basic things like strings, because most of the better end of guitar strings and stuff are made in the States. And the supply chain is shut down, and actually getting guitar strings is really difficult. It depends on how much you rely on other countries, really. But internal UK has not been too bad, and in and out of the UK has been very hard work and a lot longer.
Did you find that trade went up or down for you?
So trade definitely went up for me. I did quite well out of it when I got a bit more time to concentrate on social media, which I normally hate doing, just because it's time spent uploading pictures when I could be making instruments. So yeah, I've picked up a bit more trade from people who haven't spent money on things they would be otherwise spending money on. For me, it's quite a small scene in trad world, and people spend a lot of time at festivals or out at gigs and stuff. And I've got at least 1 or 2 customers who decided to put an order in with me instead of going to a festival and spending a fortune on something. Not that I spend a fortune with me, but, but yeah, other people who've had more time, more chance to spend playing music at home, keep themselves busy and upgrading their instruments.
And learning new
instruments in some cases, yeah. There has been actually an interesting change, and I'm not sure to what extent lockdown's been involved in it, or it's the bigger picture, but people ordering more native timbers. There's been a big uptake in less traditional luthiery woods, which I think is probably good long term because we're going to have to get around to it eventually anyway. For what you can get from a lot of the bigger businesses now, certainly guitar world, you could probably get an awful lot more from your local luthier, and there's a lot of people who feel a bit happier spending money close to home, I think, and trying to keep the local economy moving.
So during the summer, what kind of thing would you normally be doing?
So normally it would be work as normal during the week and then straight out to gigs at the weekend, because I play in a few Ceilidh bands, which keep us busy, doing a lot of weddings, and they're obviously all cancelled, which has been a bit strange. So it's probably the most number of Saturday nights I've ever been in, which I've kind of got used to now, but it did drive me crazy for a bit to start with. And the festivals we certainly miss. I made a few instruments preemptively this year to try and take them along to salespeople, because I'm normally custom orders, and so no one gets a chance to see them. So I built up a nice small stock of instruments to try and take along and show off, and then there's no festivals on. Yeah, it's strange not seeing the festivals because you kind of miss particular people you see every year. It's been a strange one. I mean, to a certain extent, we're still a little bit cautious as to what might happen next year, because I mean, until there's a big vaccine or something available, and certainly because we play dance music, I mean, you can go and sit in a venue now in some places, but you're not going to be able to get up and dance in close confines for a very long time yet. Yeah, strange things still to come, I think. I feel a lot for a lot of the industry that people tend to have overlooked at the minute, because I think there was a lot of musicians who early on people thought about not having an income because they're not really thinking about the sound guys and lighting crews and staging guys. A lot of it people are only just thinking about now, which is a bit of a shame.
Yeah.
Because people who make their living out of the industry, faces you don't see.
Did you face any personal obstacles during lockdown?
Not really for me. I was a bit slow at the beginning, I would say, with getting some invoices out and what kind of can't go through, but I mean that leveled itself out after the first couple of months. Because I work from home, it's not really been a big obstacle in that respect. It's a bit annoying not being able to get out and do the other gigs, or the other half of my income, as it were. I wouldn't have said it was a huge problem, certainly compared to a lot of other people who are having to change entire lifestyles. But, I mean, the only interesting stories I've got from lockdown are kind of morbid family ones, which are not terribly exciting for us because of the some extenuating circumstances, we did end up seeing family earlier than other people would do, and it meant you moved into another bubble, which was something that was really nice to see people, albeit under those circumstances. But it's been strange because for us, you get a few. Like in lockdown, you become overly aware of like other people watching what you're up to and stuff, and I think it's that classic where you haven't got the whole story.
You do feel like you're being watched, don't you?
Yeah, it's a strange one. Yeah, I think there's a lot of people being a bit judgmental. Like I think it's funny at the beaches down here, and there's a lot of "are you local" sort of mentality to it. And it's like, well, is it really any of your business if they're not anywhere near you anyway? If you're well more than 2 weeks away, what is it to you?
How do you feel about the lockdown restrictions beginning to ease?
Yeah, it's an interesting one in Cornwall because we don't really. It's been a big bone of contention with the number of tourists that are coming down, and there's been a few studies done recently as to just how much we actually rely on them, and it's nothing like as much as most people would like them to believe. And so whether or not we could have just had another year without having quite such an influx of people, arguably would have been better.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, I can certainly feel for people who've been stuck inside and haven't been able to go, and we've got all this, so I wouldn't begrudge anybody who wants to get away. I mean, there's an obvious case where one of the big campsites out at St Austell pre-booked a lot of the home delivery slots, so it sort of caused outrage because for me, like my nan's 94 and she's blind and she couldn't get a delivery slot for a grocery shopping and stuff. And then you spot to think, well, actually maybe the campsite had done it so that the people visiting didn't have to come in and be in contact with other people close by. So there's sort of two edges to everything really at the minute, and it doesn't really affect two people the same, does it? It's a difficult one. But yeah, I mean, in terms of easing things a bit, I'm not too happy about how quickly it eased down here, certainly, because we got a sudden influx of loads of people and you can't get anywhere. No food in the shops again. Yeah. You have to queue up for ages just to get petrol and get anywhere. Yeah, I mean, I can't blame them. It's got to happen at some point, and the economy needs to start moving again. Still want to know where they're going to go next, really, because certainly for our industry, it's a sort of, well, for the music side of things, it's difficult to know at what point you could open things back up again. Because I mean, it was good fun early on with a lot of the online concerts and stuff, but I think people got sick of it fairly quickly. So there's only so long you can watch someone playing in the front room. Have you been able to draw any positives from like the experience of being in lockdown? Ooh, it's a difficult one, that, isn't it? I guess I'll probably miss some people more than I thought I would, and I miss others a lot less than maybe I thought I would. I don't know, it highlights how much you might take for granted the rest of the time, I guess. A little bit more appreciative of smaller things maybe, because I think once you've had everything locked down and you can't get to it, suddenly just being able to go for a walk from somewhere else a bit further away, get to the beach. You value them a lot more than you did. It's a strange one, because I mean, you always like to think you don't take those kind of things for granted anyway, but then suddenly when someone takes them away from you, it's quite different. I'm hoping from an environmental point of view that people can get back to not using their cars quite as much. That'd be a positive for us. Yeah, it's been interesting. It's quite sort of highlighting some bits. When we got back again and like the Countryman opened up, it's like a hard local pub really. Getting back to, I never thought I'd miss the landlord so much. He's got this great big grin on his face. It was just absolutely lovely. The garden looks quite nice now finally. Yeah, it does look nice. It's really good weather at the beginning. Like, I was just sat around drinking in it. That was a nice part of it, wasn't it? When it was really, really sunny. Yeah, that was good. I mean, ideally, you'd like to be able to go down to the beach and have a sit down and enjoy it there, but if that's the only difference, it's not the end of the world, is it? Yeah, exactly. Is there anything that you've learned about like yourself or other people that you would take forward? Interesting. I guess I'm probably more of a people person than I thought I was. I didn't think I missed people quite as much as other people were, certainly. I forgot what the question was now. I guess one of the things is like this is no time like the present. I mean, even in lockdown you can get on with a lot of things, and there's not much point in waiting around. I'm trying to think of other positives to take away from it. Not really. It's been very long and very boring. So I mean, if that's the worst you can say about it, it's not all terrible. No, that's true. Well, thank you very much. Yes, no worries. For chatting to me. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. Bye. Sweet. Cold tea. Thank you for watching episode 2 of Letters from Lockdown. I really hope you enjoyed it and found Cas's thoughts and story interesting. I'd like to thank Cas for giving up his time and for being so patient with me, but I'd also like to thank the star of the show, Marthys the Spaniel. She really took that limelight. See you next time.
Vulgar, isn't it?
Yeah. So we should like.
Where do I need to look? Do I look at you or look at them? Yeah.
Yeah, look at me.
Okay.